Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I know that since you are here, there is something in this message for you, and I call in clarity. I call in messages for the highest good of all and harm to none. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Spirit Source, please reveal what you can through these cards and my words so that I may offer peaceful perspectives and the necessary knowledge to whomever is listening at the very moment that it is encouraging, nourishing, and applicable to the expansion of their present experience. Thank you. And Ashe, let's get shuffling. So it's been a little while since I've posted. And maybe this is significant for whoever it is that I'm speaking to, because this isn't the only, internet socializing app, I guess you could say, that I have felt the need to take distance from. And this has been a journey for me for a long time. I mean, I posted a lot more regularly when I was young. I grew up in the 90s, well, partially in the 90s, so I do identify as being a millennial, and a lot of like the big social media stuff didn't start until later. Like the idea of making money online is still kind of blows my mind, and I see that we have the opportunity available. I see that, there are things available for people to be able to do these things, but it's still like my brain is like wrapping around it. Like I remember when I was just posting on Instagram, like, once a month, and it was just like, just whatever, like, and I was able to have more fun with it. And so now it's hard for it to be fun, because you want it to be more structured. And then for me, I was fostering some cats, and I'm still fostering 2 of them, but I was fostering 6, and it was taking so much of my energy, and it's just been a lot of all over the place. And I think I just saw a hummingbird outside, and so Spirit was calling me to take a break. And I mean, there was a lot of things being in my head, and I'm sharing all this because I'm sure this resonates for somebody. Whoever it is that I'm speaking to, this has to resonate, because I'm feeling called to share it. So somebody must be feeling called to hear it, right? And so it's been quite a journey for me to get back into this and, release the not enoughness and the fears. I don't, like, what even is it? Like, what if I know that I'm doing this to share love, to offer the best version of myself to people? Like, why not do it? Why get in our head? There's a lot worse things that I could be doing with my time than trying to connect with people who are trying to do better with themselves, that are trying to create a better life for themselves, like I am, right? So all that to say, let's get into it so that Spirit can really shed light on the collective. Thank you, Spirit. What can we show? What can we say, Spirit? Even for something I need to hear. What is it for myself, for this collective? Again, to spread love and to bring each of us closer to the will of Source, Creator energy. I mean, that's how we live in harmony, is by living in connection to our Source energy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's how we reach fulfillment. Is by living in divine alignment with our heart space, which is this. Here we are, 10 of Cups. Cups is all about the heart. Cups is all about the emotions. And you might be like me, calling in a divine family, a divine tribe, maybe a homestead. You can hardly really tell, but there's like a house in the background, This has taken time to invest. And the other card that came out is the 3 of Pence. And now traditionally, the 3 of Pence shows, in the traditional imagery, it shows somebody who's like working on something, and they're like spectators. There are people watching. So I feel that's very fitting for this reading right now, because you're a spectator watching me sit in my bedroom recording a video to try and offer you some love, some camaraderie. And this has been something that I have been working so hard on. A little bit about myself. I've worked in behavioral health and studied psychology for pretty much my entire adult life, even a little bit younger than that, because I started my own personal mental health journey when I was young, when I was a kid. I started going to therapy when I was like 10, And I started taking psych meds when I was like 13. So maybe something about that is significant, because this has taken a lot of work for me to invest in myself, to feel like I want to offer love instead of thinking of the only way out, right? Game over. That's where my brain goes to. And maybe this is significant for you too. My brain goes to the absolute escapism, and I have put in a lot of work to release that, to do differently, because I know that that's all that is just my brain wanting to escape from the discomfort that I'm experiencing. And I know that there's better out there for me. I know that there's more, and so you must too. I mean, you're literally watching some random dude on the internet just flash these cards at you and tell you that you're doing the best that you can with what you have, and to please keep going. You know, that's the energy that I want to exude, because that's the energy that I've had to exude for me to keep going. Enough about me, Spirit. What else can we talk about? Yeah. Yeah. This is a new beginning, babe. You're like me. You're like, you know what? I'm ready to branch out. I'm ready to play my flute. I'm ready to let my hair blow in the wind. I'm ready to take my pet on adventures, or my kid on adventures, or my lover on adventures, because I know that life is short, and I'm building up to something big, something important. I just heard pack your bags, babe. Pack your bags. Maybe travel is significant. Maybe you want to travel. I just heard Honduras. Maybe Central or South America is significant to you. I just heard Barbados, so maybe the Caribbean. That's in the Caribbean, isn't it? Maybe Rihanna is significant. I have been hearing her. What is that one song? If it's something that you want, you should make me. So maybe, yeah, early 90s. I think that was probably early 2000s, but still, you know, that millennial energy, maybe that is significant to you. Thank you, Spirit. I'm really liking this energy. I must be talking to my people right now, for real. Oh, yeah. Because sometimes before you can set off on a new journey, you have to really sit with yourself and to really understand what it is that you want. So when I started posting these videos, and I only posted like a few, there was a little bit of an obsessive energy with it, you know, and I think that it was because this was before I had taken on these cats to foster. I was feeling like, you know, a little bored. I mean, I had gone through many transitionary periods. I moved at the beginning of this year. This is 2026 when I'm recording this, but whenever you find it, it is meant to find you. And there's been a lot of things calling me to look within. Wait, hold on. I lost my train of thought. What is it, Spirit? What was that? What was that? Interesting. Oh, that's what it was. Because I was like, am I wanting to do this? So there's other projects that I'm working on as well, besides just like sharing videos and trying to be more consistent with social media and with even just socializing in general, like going to events. Like I went through a really extended grief period, and I mean, I'm still working through that grief period. So maybe that's significant. Maybe you have also made this shift after a grief period. Because for me, when I lost somebody that was very, very close to me, my big brother, my third eye blasted wide open, and I was like, okay, life is way too short. I'm not wasting another minute doing anything or being around people that are in a misalignment. Like, life is seriously way too short. I'm not doing that anymore. And so I was like, okay, well, this is an option for me, right? But then I was like, getting in my head about it, like, am I doing it just because I want approval and validation? You know, I just want attention. Like, I don't want to do it for the wrong reasons. I want to be in alignment with Spirit. I want to be in alignment with my highest light, you know? And I don't want to just do things just like for the F of it. You know, I feel like there are so many people that just, you know, just do things for silly reasons. And I don't want to be that way. I want to be very intentional, and I don't want to let people down. So, you know, for example, I was intending on starting a school program this fall, but something got in the way of that from happening. And so I was like, okay, I'll surrender even more, Spirit. And And so here I am. I'm like, all right, Spirit is calling me to bring about this energy more. So we're doing it, and it has been tricky. It's been a balance. We've got the Two of Pence and the Three of Pence out here, and we have the Four of Swords. So yeah, maybe grief is significant. Maybe there has been something, and it doesn't have to be losing a person. Let me highlight that too, because, and it doesn't even have to be losing a person to death, because having to grieve somebody that's alive is pretty heavy as well. Or even, again, a move, or a significant change in career, or a significant change and shift in your family dynamics. Anything can bring about that grief and call you inward, because it's asking you, you know, what do you need? And the final card that came out in that bunch is a Queen of Swords. And that really highlights to me personally, knowing myself, how much I've needed to nurture my mind. Swords are air. It's all about the mind, the thoughts, words. And I really have needed to nurture that in a different way, because maybe you're like me. Maybe you didn't have parents that, or caregivers that offered loving perspective, right? I've been reading Becoming by Michelle Obama. It's been a really funny book so far. But what's really stood out to me the most is like, dang girl, like no matter, wow, 11/11 right when I looked up. No wonder why you managed to do something so, I'm hearing catastrophic and I'm seeing the tower, but that wasn't quite the word that I was looking for. I mean, something huge, right? This was something that changed the perspective of a lot of African American people, having an African American president and her being the first lady. You know what I mean? Like, that was huge historically. And I don't think it really registered to me at that time how big it was, because when he won his first election in 2008, I was still a teenager. I was 12. You know, like, it didn't, I was like, it's about dang time, you know, like, it's about damn time. I was like, yeah, this should be normal. You know, we need this. And to me, he ended up being the best president so far, the best one so far. And that says a lot too, because when I was a kid, I was really obsessed with Abe Lincoln and I studied him like crazy. But anyways, so what stood out to me the most in her book so far is how supportive her parents were. And they literally like went out of their way to give them a completely different life than they had, and a completely different life than they even believed was possible for themselves, right? I mean, African American people have been excessively oppressed. We know this. But her parents were like, they weren't pushing any limitations on their children, but my parents were. You know what I mean? And I know that I've been very fortunate to experience many privileges that certain people maybe haven't gotten to experience, just like I've also maybe didn't get to experience some things that certain people did get to experience, right? The gray area. I'm all about duality in this world, so you must be rocking with that if you're here, because even if you're just like attracted to the way that I look and not necessarily in any way other than just like you're curious about what I have to say, yeah, duality is a big thing here. And so yeah, it kind of blows my mind. And I'm like, no wonder why this has been so difficult for me to go in and start this new beginning, because I'm still working through this conditioning of not being enough, because that was the language that was given to me. You know, when I had expressed wanting to do something that was maybe non-traditional, when I was a kid, my mom shot that shit down so fast, that's not realistic. And granted, you know, she was probably just trying to save me from, you know, disappointment, you know, because she didn't believe that was possible for herself. So of course it couldn't be possible for me. You know, it's this energy of doing the best that you can with what you have and trusting that there is more out there, right? You're not subject to have what you've had so far. There are other options out there. You just have to believe that they're possible. You just have to believe that they're possible. And then, of course, you know, take steps towards making them happen, right? And that can be a tricky journey when, again, this is something that you've never done before, or you don't have somebody around you that is able to guide you in this way, because you're doing this on your own. And when you're doing something you've never done before, there are going to be things that you didn't know you needed for it to be done, because you've never done it before, right? And again, this is for you just as much as it is for me, because this shit blows my mind. I'm like, we live in a world that's like so miraculous, but we're also confined by our thoughts, by our fears, because that's what we've been conditioned to do. And there are even other populations, other communities, more than just like the queer community, for example, that have oppressed ourselves simply because that's what we know. That's what we know, so we've done it to ourselves. Wow. All of that must be really significant. Interesting. Okay, we have the Nine of Cups coming out here. And the Nine of Cups is typically read as like a wish fulfillment card, which absolutely, I mean, with this energy, obviously. But I'm getting this energy because through my journey with the tarot, I've done more pulling for myself than I've done for anybody else, significantly more, and watched plenty of videos too of other readers. And so, but when I see the Nine of Cups, I get this energy of like, almost, right? I mean, the Eight of Cups is also kind of one of those energies of like almost, right? But it's almost like it's this facade. I have all of these cups, but they're empty. And so maybe that was part of this transition that you experienced. And in her book, she talks about this too. Not sure why I keep coming back to that, but again, must be significant. She talks about how she busted her butt to like go to law school. She went to Princeton, she went to Harvard. And, you know, that's big things for that time. She was very much a minority in these spaces, but not in the space that she grew up in, Southside Chicago. And so she was working really hard. And I mean, there's that duality of the perspective of having family that supports you, of having parents that really think that you can just take it all away and want you to just do the biggest, grandest things. So that's what she did. She kind of followed a little bit in her brother's footsteps, which I can also resonate with, you know, having an older sibling that adds to this sense of guidance. She started practicing law, and she worked for, you know, a big law firm, you know, kind of had a full circle moment with that. And she's like, damn, I'm empty. I don't really want this. I don't really think I want this. This isn't impactful enough for me. And she started looking for jobs where she would take almost a half pay cut, like having, you know, and, you know, with having all of this, I don't know that she had a lot of debt as far as her student loans went, but her parents had to, they like started working just so that they could pay for her school. Like that's I mean, her dad was working, but her mom wasn't working for a period of time, and her mom took a job so that they could pay for their schooling. Like, that's crazy, you know? And I mean, my mom had done things for me, and especially more so recently, my parents have been a lot more supportive. But it is this energy of like, I was trying really, really hard to make something work. And then I realized, you know what? That's not quite it. That's not quite it. I want this. I want my cake and to eat it, right? I want the whole shebang. I want the house. I want the kids. I want the wife. I want the husband. I want the whatever. I don't want to be alone, right? Spirit, I don't like talking about this perspective. Spirit wants me to highlight one of the points as to why I see this card as that. And that's because the Nine of Cups is really the only card in the whole deck where somebody is depicted as being, let's say, heavier set, weighing more than, you know, average, however you want to word that. And I say that so sensitively because I don't believe in body shaming in any way. Your body, your choice, baby, is between you and God. It ain't got nothing to do with me, what you put in your body. But we have to acknowledge the reality of over-consumerism that comes with that. And it's very much like this energy of instant gratification. But that doesn't last, right? You know, it's this energy of I just want it right now, but that's not what's going to bring you the full shebang. You know, so many people try to like, oh, like I'm going to like force this relationship. I'm going to, you know, we're going to have kids and that's what's going to keep them staying. But it's like, that's not what establishes longevity. And for me, this is a huge thing because I had been hypersexual a lot in my life. And I've had to overcome that. That's been part of this inner journey of doing things like this, connecting with people in more authentic ways, instead of rushing to do very physical, lustful things. But again, you know, when I grew up, I didn't have nurturing. I didn't have people that stopped to hold me, that stopped to tell me things are going to be okay, that stopped to give me attention, because my parents were drained, having to buzz their butts, working twice as hard to support a family as single parents, you know? And they made some very silly decisions that I'm sure they can see now were silly. But again, you know, everybody's doing the best that they can with what they have. And that's a big thing that I highlight. You know, I've made peace with my parents, with my family, with my ancestors. And there's a lot of ickiness down the line, a lot of grossness. And maybe you can resonate with this too. A lot of this. Like, straight up had a great-grandfather that tried to murder his wife. Served a little bit of time, and she took him back. Weird shit. Like, weird stuff. But I don't want that. I don't want the fake. I don't want the shiny cups, but nothing is in them. I don't want that. And if you're here, you must not either. So let's keep it going, Spirit. What else do we have to share? Yeah. Now we got two queens out here. There's big nurture energy, and the wands, spiritual. It's like all encompassing. So it's very much this, yes, with the black cat. That's one of the cats that I have left that I'm still fostering. The last kitten, she's more of a tuxedo, but she's more black than she is white. Oh yeah, and I'm feeling called to really look at this. You can't really tell, but she has like a lion. So maybe fire signs are significant. Aries, Leo, Sag. Specifically Leo, especially with these sunflowers. Yeah, it's I'm feeling called to share on this, to speak on this. My experience with my parents and with faith, for example, because that's another part of this, why I had been so in my head about things, because I never had true guidance of faith. You know, so many people have, like, for example, I know I keep coming back to Michelle Obama, but we're going with the flow. You know, she kind of had faith in her parents because her parents had faith in her. I didn't get to have that. My mom was atheistic all my life, didn't believe in God, hyper independent, you know, was not about that life. And my dad was very opposite, very Catholic, I don't want to say very Catholic, because I mean, there's probably people that are more Catholic, like more like gung-ho about certain things, but you know, he goes to church every week. He's very big with his community, you know, and celibacy and everything. So I didn't get to see what true faith was, because that's organized religion. I thought I was calling BS when I was a kid, right? I was like, I don't buy it. A man in the sky? Ha! You know, I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. But now I'm like, no, that's not even what it is. Spirit, God is within us. We are gods. We are extensions of source energy, right? And so I've had to really re-nurture this part of myself. And so maybe that's something that you're working on too. Thank you so much, Spirit. I keep feeling called to look at these butterflies on the Queen of Swords dress too, or whatever. Would you call that a dress? I don't know what you would call that. I don't wear those kind of clothing anymore. Yeah, there's been a trap in the mind. And maybe this has been keeping you up at night, and maybe there's just something that you're like, oh, I just really want to do it, but I'm scared. But what if this? What if that? I really want to do it. I really want to do it. Babe, get out of your head. You got to nurture yourself with this love. Let it be free, baby. Let it be free. Because life is too short to focus on that, right? Life is too short not to just try, right? Thank you so much, Spirit. We're going to be done with the tarot. And I'm feeling called to pull from my Sacred Oracle, my Sacred Destiny Oracle deck. I really love this deck. This was my very first Oracle deck. And I just really love the language that's used in the book. Thank you so much, Spirit. What else can we share with this beautiful collective? With these people that are clearly doing the best that they can with what they have. These people that are really trying their best to to be of service to the highest good of all. I can feel it. I can tell. They want to, but they're like, how? I'm not good enough. You're not the only one that experiences those thoughts, babe. And you're also not the only one that lets them control you. It just takes practice, I'm telling you. Practice. Practice. Okay. Okay. Wow. I just tried to split the deck to shuffle and 3 cards just fell out. Oh my God. Yeah. So as I was shuffling, I saw this card, Transformation. Very significant. Here we are. Double butterflies. And it decided to come out. And we also have this Freedom card, which I love this. Look at these birds. That's one of my favorite things ever to see, like, just like a large flock of birds just like going crazy in the sky. And this card has come up for me. This is the 3rd time since, you know, doing readings on my own that this card has come out. Release. I'm gonna get into it so you can really see the significance of it. We're gonna start with Transformation though. And I flipped right open to New Beginnings. All right. Transformation. Blue butterfly. It's no accident that the butterfly represents transformation, rebirth, and resurrection. Excuse me. Hello. Remarkably, when the caterpillar becomes a chrysalis, it doesn't just instantly become a butterfly. It actually dissolves into a kind of soup. In other words, it liquefies itself, and out of that emerges something completely different. It is a true transformation. In some cultures, blue butterflies are considered very good luck and even wish granters. Wow. I'm loving the full circle here with this blue and the butterflies. Thank you, Spirit. In Native American tribes, it is believed that a wish whispered to a butterfly will be granted when it flies to the heavens. The Native American shawl dance, which celebrates renewal, is derived from the butterfly dance. Also, the color blue represents a calmness, peace, and spiritual attunement, and the blue butterfly is thought to carry all of these meanings. The sacred landscape wants you to know this is time for change, reinvention, or a rebirth into a new way of being. If you've been plodding along, this card suggests that you take measures to shift everything. Don't resist change. The blue color suggests a spiritual renewal or initiation. Transformation doesn't mean taking something old and remodeling it or rearranging a few things. It means becoming something completely different or doing something completely different. Change is often uncomfortable, but it is usually for the highest good. This is a very lucky card, and drawing this card can mean that a wish may be about to come true. Okay, Spirit. Thank you so much for coming through. Okay. Freedom is next. Yes, freedom. That is the... I don't know, you saw my last video. Ooh, I popped off in that thing and speak about freedom. The cliff swallow. Ooh, okay, cliff swallow. Okay, on the edge of the cliff. Okay. I like it. Thank you, Spirit, for showing me these synchronicities. The swallow flies free on wind currents and thermals in remarkable aerial maneuvers, igniting the expression as free as a bird. In many cultures, such as that of the ancient Egyptians, the swallow was thought to carry souls to heaven. Early sailors would tattoo themselves with an image of a swallow, so if they drowned, the swallow would carry their souls to the heavens. In poor light, a cliff swallow looks brownish gray. However, in good lighting, it is a luminous metallic dark blue. Cliff swallows tradition. Okay, there's that blue again. Cliff swallows. Which one? Yeah, that's the throat and the third eye chakra. Yeah, because that's what I've been talking about. That change in perspective and that change in what you want to express. Cliff swallows traditionally make their nests on vertical cliffs, carefully crafting them out of mud. Although they can nest solitarily, they usually nest in colonies. Maybe you're like me, you're looking for that community. You're looking for people that are like about that ish, about the real ish, not this matrix ish. When one finds a cloud of insects, it alerts the other members of the flock so that all can be nourished. Even though they fly free, their community supports them. The sacred landscape wants you to know, express yourself without hesitation. Break free and let your spirit fly. Make choices that increase your freedom. Don't be tied down. Laugh, dance, explore, and go beyond predictable behavior. Be daring. Cast aside restrictions. Find your wings. As you do, you'll help others find theirs. You are not here to be ordinary or live a mundane life. You are here to step beyond limitations and self-imposed boundaries. Self-imposed boundaries. Even your thoughts, babe. Don't believe every thought that you think. They're not all true. You can choose which ones you want to focus on. Excuse me. Do not be trapped by convention or the need to please others. Choose life on your own terms. Don't accept rules that don't feel right. You can be immensely free and yet still be part of a loving, supportive community. We call that in spirit. Thank you so much. We receive that. I receive that. I hope you receive that because I like that. I receive that. Last but not least, release. Autumn light. The cooler days and change of color in the leaves mark the seasonal change from summer to autumn. The bracing wind wildly flings the red, orange, and yellow leaves from the trees as they spiral to the dampened, dark earth. Lingering sunshine filters through the canopy of vividly colored leaves, creating an autumnal glow. In the great cycle of life, fall is the time of letting go, just as spring is the time of new birth and summer the time of expansion and growth. Fall is the time of the harvest. It is the time to begin the inward journey into the restoring and renewing season of winter. Oh, and we even got the snow on the mountains. And we are, when I'm recording this is August, we are shifting into fall, which next comes winter. So, and I'm looking forward to that. I live in Arizona, so I'm very much looking forward to that. When you receive this card, it is time to let go and surrender. Let go of situations, people, and objects that do not serve you. Let go of old, outmoded, self-limiting beliefs that drag you down. This is the time of stripping away superficial distractions until you reach who you are at your core. If you are holding on to the old, it is difficult for anything new to come into your life. Begin to clear your home and living environments of clutter. If you do not love it or use it, it's probably clutter. Clear it out of your space. It's time for a detox. To get ready for the new, you must release the old. And since this card has been coming up for me several times now in these last few readings, I did end up cleaning out some of my closets, some of my clothes that I'm not touching. So maybe that's spirit nudging me. Maybe you've been feeling like, oh, I gotta clean out my car. Just do it, babe. It's probably gonna take you less time than you even think. So I'm gonna leave you with that. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm sending you love and light on your journey. I'll see you next time.